So welcome everybody, both in the sanctuary and online, to the Wednesday night Let's Get Real and Heal meditation service. I'm joined tonight by our presider, Beverly Scott, and we're delighted to have you joining us this evening. And so I'm going to ask Beverly just to take her place up here, and we're going to start. Well, let me just say by welcoming those of you, if this is your first time, we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And so we're going to get started by coming together in our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. So let's just take a deep conscious breath together and release. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in the sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Beverly lights the healing candle, I invite you to please say aloud or put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God.
As we turn ourselves this evening, turn within giving honor to our Creator, knowing our oneness with the infinite. We hold still, savoring, basting in this light of love, of joy, of peace that Holy Spirit can bring. I surrender to the power and the presence of this almighty energy that's ever flowing, reviving, strengthening. I call on this presence, knowing that there is solace, strength, that I can draw on to move me on, move me forward, so that I can be the light, stand in the light, spread the light. And I know this truth is true for my brothers and sisters that also are people of highly sensitive people. The tuition, the intuition that is ours. I'm so moved with this feeling that I just want to stay in the moment and let it resonate and let it just be. Knowing that I'm in the right place, doing the things that I'm supposed to do. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the health of all beings, the wisdom, the knowledge, the conscious healing, the growth that we all are experiencing. I lift up my mind and my heart to be aware, to understand and to know the divine presence that I am is the source of all my good. And I know that this truth is bearing strong for all beings. Father, Mother God, I am so thankful for this truth. I speak my word knowing that it will not return to me void. I release to the high law, expecting, accepting what is mine and what is ours to do. And I'm grateful and thankful. Let us affirm together, and so it is. It is Wednesday, and we're in June. A new month, a month of creativity, but for me, a month of gratitude. I was fortunate to have some time off the last couple of days. I spent some time at the LA County Fair on Monday. The last day, it was so awesome. My daughter treated me. I bring this up because it's about gratitude. Simple things, simple things. We have so much to be thankful for. And being at the fair took me all the way back to my childhood. I'm just grateful for experiences, good, even the ones that at the time may have seemed to be not so good. As I look back, I see that they were, because any time and all times, gratitude. Let's just think on that. To wake up in the morning, to breathe, to have a job to go to. So much to be thankful for. At the fair, just the people watching. It was the breeze, it was cool, it was just the right amount of people, and everyone, you could just see the joy, the happiness. And I was just in awe, just grateful, just to be there. And then I go back to work today. And then I'm grateful to have the job to go to. Being away, if you're anything like me, sometimes a day or two, you forget everything. One of the things that we have to do is we have to fill out a survey to gain access to campus. We also have to take a COVID test. So I'm there, and I'm swiping my card to get my little kit so I could take the test. And I put my code in, and I see the little kit drop, and then it hangs, it gets caught. And I'm like, whoa, okay, do it again. So I swipe a second time. I do the code, another kit drops. It sticks again. So I have 2 kits stuck. And I'm standing there and I said, oh, fudge. And a student walks up to me and she said, wait, don't worry. And she reaches in with her little hand and she's able to cause both of my kits to drop. And I'm just looking at her. And I'm so grateful. And I share with her. And I just tell her, I spend my time at the fair yesterday and I'm so excited and everything went so good. I'm just geared up, full of gratitude, thankful. And then here's this one little thing that almost stuck me. But there's always energy. I call it spirit, God, gratitude. In everything, give thanks. An attitude of gratitude is most solitary and bespeaks the realization that we are now in heaven. I know you are like, where's she going with this gratitude? Heaven is right here and now. And when we stand in gratitude, when we stay thankful, we can feel that we are in heaven. How we love to do for those who cooperate with and are grateful for our small endeavors. The young student that helped me. It's small and simple, but it was so big to me. Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence, and is crowned in heaven with the consciousness of unity. And that bespeaks New Thought, Science of Mind, the consciousness of unity. Heaven, gratitude. It's all a connection. I just read from Science of Mind, textbook, page 479. Gratitude is one of the chief graces. Keep a gratitude journal. Use it daily. And note the unfolding manifestations that will occur in your life. Simplicity. Gratitude is simple. It's easy. It's like breathing. Gratitude is crowned in heaven with the consciousness of unity. Humility, loving kindness. In everything, give thanks and know that gratitude is one of the chief graces of the Most High. I'd like to share with you some announcements for upcoming Sunday, June 5th. If you would like prayer support, you can find a practitioner online at cslgh.org. There will be Zoom fellowship meeting at 11:45. Coming up, potluck breakfast with Reverend Mike, Sunday, June 5th at 11:30. Sign up what you'd like to bring. It would be great to see everyone in person, but we love your attendance online as well. We also are having a friends raising party potluck. That's Saturday, June 11th at 5 p.m. RSVP for location information. Look for invitation in email newsletter. We have a class beginning Tuesday, June 14th, 6 p.m., The Essentials, Ernest Holmes, online with Reverend Dr. Maureen. Always membership. Would you like to win friends and influence others? Become a member and share your wonderfulness with the world. Fill out an application. Please, thank you so much. Stay grateful and thankful. Reverend Mike.
All right, Beverly, thank you. Let's give her some love in the chat. We'll give her some love in here in the room. So yeah, it's June 1, which means we're into the theme for June, which we will be exploring both Sundays and on Wednesday nights, that being creativity. We are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What then shall we create? Ernest Holmes asks. One principle must make the universe a single complex living creature, One from All, from Plotinus. And here's one from Miguel de Unamo. To fall into a habit is to begin to cease to be. Well, that's an interesting one. In other words, it's stay out of the ruts. Ruts are not creative. So I had a pretty creative weekend. I was up at Lake Arrowhead on retreat, actually leading the retreat for the Redondo Beach Center, Las Vegas Center, CSL Redlands, and of course those of us here in Granada Hills. Was proud to be a member of our Granada Hills community. I just really love the way our practitioners and ministers and members showed up. It's very open-hearted and, making new connections and new friends. We had it went a little bit different for anyone who's been up there. We usually have a nature walk on Sunday morning, but I moved it up to Saturday. And instead of trying to jam it into 45 minutes, we took 2.5 hours in noble silence. And which is always, the introverts love it. The extroverts can't struggle with it. And of course, the gag was that we had duct tape available for those who couldn't manage. But it was a fruitful way, because the whole weekend kind of reverted back to that experience. And it was a departure from other retreats in that we did what we do here. We just didn't do as much of it, which is sitting with the breath, which of course is, as we've talked about here on Wednesday, is a Buddhist technique known as Vipassana, although it is an adaptation, to be sure. It's not a true Buddhist meditation practice the way we have adapted it. And often the meditations are guided rather than silent, because there's so many people who are new. And so it was nice to see people willing to explore the silence and some of the curveballs that got thrown into the experience, and to see people deal with it. And of course, they're in noble silence, so there can't be any grousing about it, right? And so everybody's just really great about just taking it into the moment. And so anyway, it was a very interesting weekend, to be sure. And so we are going to be exploring creativity throughout this month. It's the one thing that I really appreciate about this Science of Mind teaching. And the first reading for this first of the month just takes it back to the basics of that our word has power. It's entitled, My Word Does Accomplish. Since thought is a definite, dynamic, creative, consciously directed, and intelligent energy, I know that a thought of truth will definitely neutralize a negative argument. I am on guard to protect my own word, knowing that it is the activity of spirit through me, and as such cannot be denied. In effective prayer, I realize that a power greater than myself consciously acts with creative intelligence upon my word. In this way, I free myself from a sense of personal responsibility, while at the same time remaining aware that even spiritual laws must be definitely used, if they are to provide tangible results in my experience. Now, why would he say I free myself from a sense of personal responsibility, right? Because we're releasing things unto the law. So we're not really doing anything, right? It's Spirit that's doing it. So we speak our word with authority and then let it go. And then he has this, it's kind of a treatment, really. I seek to believe with absolute conviction that my word will not return unto me void. And I do this when I realize that the spiritual laws execute themselves, just as do other laws of nature. I know that my word penetrates every unbelief in my mind, casts out all fear, removes all doubt, clears away every obstacle, and permits that which is enduring, perfect, and true to be perceived by my mind. I provide faith, acceptance, and a joyous expectancy that all the statements I make in my affirmative prayers and treatments are not only true, but they will be carried out as I have spoken. As my word is done, with this sense of reliance upon the law of good, I know that my word will not return unto me void, but shall accomplish that whereunto it is sent. So a good reminder. Also, I would like to, so we have a longtime member, Mr. John Sparks, who now lives in North Carolina. I'd just like for you to join me in supporting him as his next unfoldment, however that is to be, and just raise him in love and support in however way he determines his journey is to go this night. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath then. And we release as we start our meditation time here this evening. Simply following the breath. And as we follow the breath, the mind begins to still. We're just taking in the sensation of the body. And move our attention into it. Using sensation to focus the mind. So we're following the breath by monitoring the movement of the breath on the upper lip, by following the exhale. relax the tummy. Allow it to rise and fall naturally. Take a deep breath together now, and then on the release, move into the silence for about 20 minutes. So taking a deep breath and release as Rinzin brings up the Om and Bros. gently back into the room, staying with the breath. And imagine with me that there is a divine flame in our heart center. And with the breath now, we are fanning this flame. Even as we know that the breath itself is a movement of the divine. That the energetic, the light, the love that God is within every breath. Commingling with the indwelling spirit within, that there's this exchange within every breath. Or that which is no longer serving is released, and a replenishment of energy and light, even love on every inhale. So with the breath then fanning this flame, there's now this ball of light and love at the heart center that is expanding with each breath in the same way a balloon expands as you blow it up. Inhale and release. Inhale, expand, release. So that this ball of light and love is now extending beyond our torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that we're now sitting in this field of light and love, staying with the breath, expand and release. So this light and love now is filling every space in which we sit, in the room in which we sit, that we are immersed now in this field of light and love that is extending even beyond time and space, a fourth dimensional expression of spirit in which we are all connected now in this moment, in a field of light and love, and in this conscious unity with the One then. We consider the ways in which creativity is now free to express itself in our life on this day and throughout this month. Breathing in light, and exhaling love, the creative ways in which we can express love in appropriate ways, as loving kindness and compassion towards all, as compassion and loving kindness for ourselves. So we are now just allowing ourselves to surrender to this light and love as we know together that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one divine energetic, the creative impulse of life that is both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as our life. That we are experiencing now the allness of God within every breath that is filling all the spaces, the little nooks and crannies of the body temple are now activated and activating every atom, every molecule, and the spaces in between. Every cell, every muscle, every bone, every organ, every sinew, that all now is aligning with the indwelling pattern of perfection within. That we are releasing any thought and error around this notion and allowing instead this pattern of perfection, that we're releasing it and allowing it to its full expression. So whether it's in alignment of spine, of knees, or even within our own thinking, that we're releasing old forms of thinking and being and doing, taking a deep breath. I'm just releasing all of that. All obstacles, known or unknown, are dissolved even now to our highest expression of life. And so we are opening our minds now to that creative impulse of life. With any seeming challenge that we may be facing, that we are now open and receptive to intuitive direction, where we are intuitively guided to solutions to any challenge that may, up until now, have had us perplexed in some way. That we take a deep breath and we release that. And any sense of energy, any anxiety, any kind of blockage of any kind, we're just releasing that, knowing that the infinite light and love of the divine is dissolving and obliterating anything unlike itself. So we feel this free expression of the energetic of the indwelling spirit. And we're feeling a sense of vitality, rejuvenation, of restoration in this moment. A restoration that supports our relationships, both those whom we hold close to us and our working relationships. That we are intuitively guided to ways of practicing compassion and loving kindness with all. So we take one more deep breath, releasing this word now, knowing it cannot return to us void, that we're releasing it to that aspect of the mind, of the divine itself, expressing as unconditional love, as a law of its own being, that aspect that knows only to say yes. Yes, my beloved, it is done. So we feel a sense of gratitude in this moment for the many blessings in our life, including the LA Fair. That we're grateful for all of it, the tender little connections that we have through the day with family, friends, and even strangers. That we feel ourselves connected to the sweet spot of life in this gratitude. So now from this place of gratitude, we take another deep breath and just release all of it now. And in that release, knowing it is done, knowing it is so, there's nothing to do but release, which we do now. And so as we move through the rest of this evening, we arrive home safely and in good order, making our way through our night's activities until finally we get to bed, resting our head on the pillow, drifting off easily and deeply to sleep, sleep that is restful, full of sweet dreams, that we awaken in the morning feeling refreshed, revitalized, full of a sense of vim, vigor, and vitality, that the creative impulse of life is putting a spring in our step, that we tackle the day, easily recognizing the face of God everywhere we turn. So one more breath, releasing this final breath, knowing it is done, knowing it is good, knowing it is so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, so it is. Amen. So thank you for joining us tonight. So don't forget to check us out for this friend-raising thing. And if you want to enjoy some great air conditioning along with some breakfast, you're welcome to join us after the service, after the 10:30 service, where we are offering childcare, and of course we're live streaming as well. So moving step by step to being more fully open. So we'll look forward to seeing you soon, and peace and blessings. Adios. Bios con Dios.